I asked her to marry me, she said no, for a laugh. Ah, ha, ha, ha. We were in a restaurant, and I remember the whole thing vividly. Here's another damning indictment as well on the state of our relationship. She told me this afterwards. Apparently, she knew I was going to ask her to marry me that day because, quote, I'd been really nice to her all day. Kind of feel a bit bad about that. We were in a restaurant. I remember I kept trying to get the conversation round to the subject of us, and where we're going in our relationship and that sort of thing. Because you can't just go from a standing start to a proposal. You can't just go, how's your dessert? Marry me? It's going to be a bit of finesse. And if you do, lads, try not to make it sound as needy as I just did there. Save a drowning man. That's not safe. We were in a restaurant, and I'm trying to get it onto that subject, subject of conversation. She, however, had had about 3-4 glasses of white wine at this point, and Wurzel had his talking head on. She would not shut the hell up. And it wasn't that she just kept talking, she kept interrupting me and changing the subject. It was a baby, you and me. It was a children's TV program. Never really cared for it. More of a heads and tails girl. Don't you know me at all? I mean, as a couple of tequilas, shots, whiskey, what do you want? Shut up! After 20 minutes of trying to talk about us and where we're going in our relationship and what the next step of our relationship should be, and her wanting to talk about anything but our relationship, I began to think, wow, this must be what it's like to be the woman in a relationship. Anyway, the old switcheroo. Anyway, eventually, I get it onto the subject of us long enough to pop the question. I go, I'm asking you to marry me. And she says, no. And I say, what? On the outside. On the inside, I'm going, you what? And then she says to me, I swear to you, with tears rolling down her rosy Derbyshire cheeks, as she theatrically pushed the ring back across the table towards me, she goes, I can't marry you. And I went, oh. And she went, I'm only joking. What a beezer of a jape. Hey, what a top-hole A-grade wheeze. That's some funny shit right there. Ladies, not everybody's comedy show has to have a moral or a message or a meaning, but if mine had one, it would probably be something along the lines of, for Christ's sake, don't ever do that. And it's not just because it's mean, because obviously it's not the meanest thing you could do. The meanest thing you could do would be to do the opposite. That would edge it from meanness, wouldn't it? Will you marry me? I'd love to. Psych! That would be mean. I'll give you that. But if you're going to say yes, just say it. And say it quickly. None of this no for a laugh bullshit. Because not only is it not funny, not only is it mean, also, you'll be surprised how quickly a man's mind can work under stressful conditions. And you don't want his brain going the place it's going to go. From the time she says, I can't marry you, I was off. Like, oh, she doesn't want to marry me. That's a shame. I thought I was in there. Well, we may as well break up. Not a lot of point in continuing with what is quite clearly a farce of a relationship. I suppose I could buy her out of the house. Maybe we could sell the house, split the money down the middle. Get myself a little bachelor pad in the West End of London. Have the lads round for drinks every night. God, it's been ages since the lads came round for drinks, hasn't it? Yeah. Maybe not even London. Maybe I'll move back to Ireland or move up to Scotland. Oh, you know what? I'll go to the States. I'll call that agent that I met in Montreal. Get that ball rolling. Go to LA. Try and break the States. To hell with LA. I'll go to Vegas. I'll become a lounge act. I won't make a lot of money, but I'll shag dancing girls every day and take drugs every night. I'll be dead by the time I'm 50, but I'll have a laugh. I'll do what I like. I'll do whatever the hell I want with my life. I'm only joking. Okay.
Tell me, does anyone here own a cat? Your houses stink. Someone's got to tell them. Some people like cats, some people don't. I was reading the other day, apparently the Pope, he's a cataholic. Catholic. I've had an interesting job recently. I pretended to be a Spanish dentist. Thanks, that doesn't normally work. They said about me that I was too immature to be a father, but when I saw the first few seconds of my son's life, I thought to myself, he's naked. When my daughter was born, she had jaundice. So there she was, small, round, and yellow. We called her Melanie. My parents came up last weekend because I keep them in the cellar. That's not true. I don't know who they are. See, when I was young, I used to walk through the front door. I was hit by roast beef and Yorkshire pudding, open the airing cupboard, spaghetti bolognese all over me. We literally didn't know where the next meal was coming from. My grandparents, their names are Pearl and Dean. Of course, we just know them as Gran and Grandpapa, Papa, 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 Papa. Any students here? Your houses stink. Someone's got to tell him. Don't talk to me about unemployment. I come from a tiny fishing village in Derbyshire. It's not near the sea.
London, just a city dragging itself up by its cranes to ever new heights of unaffordability. It's been that way for years now, right? It's just a playground for the super wealthy and their offspring. And I'm not from that sort of background myself, regardless of what you may think from the way that I just pronounced the word years. I'm not, it's just a voice. This is genuinely true. During the last year for which I have available data, the high school I went to sent more people to ISIS than Oxbridge. Let you guess which way I went? Pleasure to be here. Allahu Akbar. Lock the doors. You might think the last line's obviously a joke. I'll get letters. Genuinely, I get strangers anonymously contacting me online insisting that I want to impose Sharia law on the West, which, as the atheist son of Hindu parents, makes me feel ever so naughty. Sharia, moi. And now, look at me. Regular guy on the BBC at Christmas time. Yeah. Although, admittedly, owing to the BBC's diversity regulations, because I'm on the bill, you now have to refer to it as Krishna time. I know, right? O.M. Ganesh. Lots of differences between the generations. My favorite Christmas film is Die Hard. My dad's still waiting for the Hindu remake. Die Hard, get reincarnated, die even harder. It's been an interesting time this year. Lots of changes in my area at the moment, right? My part of London is undergoing a lot of rapid gentrification. they call it, right? I don't know if I can be a gentrifier because I've gentrified places in the past. I work in the arts, don't get me wrong, right? I remember a while ago I lived in a place called Streatham in South London, and when I came towards the end of my tenancy, I remember walking to the station and realizing that overnight a minicab office had been replaced by a vegan bakery, and I was like, my work here is done. It's different from the way that it used to be, you know? When my grandparents came to this country, my grandparents came to this country with nothing, and yet they were able to start a family here, they were able to build a life for them, they were able to own property, largely because they drove down house prices in every neighborhood they went to, but they were able... Property. It's not like that anymore for the different generations, right? So what do the young people do? You wait, you're probably watching this at home, all the generations together at last at Krishna time. Huh? All of the young people waiting for a grandparent to cough and hoping that that's what's finally going to get them on the property ladder. The problem is, as with any kind of inequality, with intergenerational inequality, the deck is stacked and we pretend it's a question of priorities that's made outcomes not identical, right? The number of times that I've heard, oh, you're worried you'll never get on the housing ladder, but you'll spend £3 on one of your fancy coffees, yeah? Yeah, oh, yeah, well, you'll never get a little flat, but you'll spend £3 on one of your fancy coffees. Bruv, that's because you bought all the £3 houses. Few of those left, I'd prioritize that over a gingerbread latte. That is not the world that we currently live in, right? Guys, I currently, as an individual, earn more than both of my parents did, put together, adjusted in real terms, when 23 years ago they bought a 4-bedroom detached house in North London. The problem is my fondness for brunch. Sure.
I am quite impressed at the number of sports that have been adapted for disabled people, though. It's nice that they are so inclusive these days. I reckon we should go further and adapt versions of classic board games as well. You could play a very special edition of Guess Who, where all the characters had disabilities. No one would ever win, because everyone would be too afraid to describe their character in case they caused offense. The questions would be fun as well. Is your person incontinent? Does your person have crayon around his mouth? Does your person have trouble speaking properly? Is your person Danny Dyer? You could also have a disabled version of Monopoly, where every space is just free parking. Speaking from the personal experience of a bloke with a disability, I think that the dating game is much harder for people like myself. I've tried speed dating. That didn't work. By the time I'd typed out a sentence, it's time to move on to the next person. And I'm not looking for sympathy either. I'm just using emotional blackmail to try to get someone to sleep with me. I'll be in the bar afterwards, if any of you are interested. Yes, even you, sir. One of the main problems I have with dating is that I find it hard to approach girls in the traditional sense. I don't have the ability to chat up a woman. When I meet a girl, I have to type them up. And that just sounds wrong. You type up your dissertation, you type up your will, and you type up your letter to your grandma. There's nothing sexy about being typed up. Even if there was, when you're typing excitedly to a woman, and accidentally spell something wrong, autocorrect is a ducking nightmare. For example, I once asked a girl if she had a pen I could borrow, so I could write down her number. I didn't expect it to say, "Can I borrow your penis?" So you can imagine my surprise when she pulled it out right in front of me. It's at this point in my set when I like to remind people that I'm not related to Stephen Hawking in any way. In fact, the closest I have ever come to being Hawking is when I went to see The Theory of Everything at the cinema. It's the movie about Stephen Hawking and his life. I didn't go to watch it though. I just went so that I could sit at the back, say random sentences on my iPad, and fuck with the rest of the audience.
As much as you want to save animals, I'm pretty sure you're not going to do it by buying cosmetics. Pretty sure you can't walk into the body shop and buy some burdock root peppermint oil foot scrub, and some little badger somewhere in Scotland is going to go, "Wow, I feel a whole lot better about my life right now." Somebody's buying that burdock root peppermint oil foot scrub. I don't see the point in testing cosmetics on rabbits anyway, because they're already cute. Slather some lip gloss and eyeliner all over them. Now they're all gussied up like some $3 whore. There's no dignity in that for a rabbit whatsoever. You want to test out cosmetics? Test them out on big game, because they stink. Get up under a hippopotamus there and get some roll-on deodorant under his armpit. See how fresh and self-assured he stays all day, huh? Little lip gloss on a beaver. Real beaver. Stay with me, fella. Real beaver. Right? Dam-building, log-eating beaver. If he's charged through 60 logs and he's still wearing that lip gloss, that's some damn good lip gloss right there, ladies and gentlemen. You know this whole thing about, you ever meet someone famous and you tell your friends, and then they say, "Well, what was he like?" Because all they really want to hear is that he was a prick. That's why they like to say Tom Cruise is the nicest guy in Hollywood. And I always think, well, if I was making $8 million a film, I'd be nice too. Jesus Christ. But I'm not sure he is that nice. Because I always read these articles about how he's so insular and he's into his Scientology and he, stays at a hotel, won't make eye contact with anyone in the hotel because he doesn't want to talk about the plots to his new films. Apparently, as if staring Tom Cruise in the face, he would just crack under pressure. What are you staring at? Hey, you want to hear about my new film? You ever seen a Tom Cruise film like he couldn't figure out the plot in about 18 seconds? Oh, Christ. He's a cocktail maker. He's a pretty good cocktail maker, too. Till he has a crisis of confidence and can't make cocktails anymore. Then he meets a good-looking woman who talks him into being a better cocktail maker. A riveting piece of cinema that was. Then he's a race car driver. Pretty good race car driver, too. Till he has a crisis of confidence. Can't race cars anymore. Then he meets a good-looking woman who talks him into being a better race car driver. Then he's a jet pilot. Some of you are starting to see a pattern emerge here. Pretty good jet pilot? Yes, he was. Till he had a crisis of confidence, couldn't fly jets anymore. Then I believe he met a good-looking woman who talked him into being a better jet pilot. Then he was a sports agent. Then he was the brother of a retarded guy. He was a pretty good brother of a retarded guy till he had a crisis of confidence and wasn't so sure he was such a good brother of a retarded guy. And then he met a good-looking woman who talked him into being a better brother of a retarded guy. Then he was some kind of, I don't know what he's in now, War of the Worlds. Maybe he fights the world. You know what? I bet he's a pretty good world fighter. But at some point he'll probably have a crisis of confidence. You're going to meet a good-looking woman who convinces him it's okay to fight the world. Could be a Scrabble player for all I care. He's a pretty good Scrabble player. Till he draws all vowels. Has a crisis of consonants. And he meets a lovely Welsh woman who teaches him a lot of words he's never heard before.
While I was in a city fraternity, it was a long time ago and the slangs have changed. There were so many colloquialisms for dispossessing people of their personal effects without their consent. Yes, I was in the property reacquisition sector of our organization. And every now and then I dabbled in some urban pharmacy. Yeah. I'm Nigerian, so I also tried out some freestyle accounting. No, like I was saying, obviously, there was loads of slangs for robbing people in it. But the most popular slang at the time in the South was suck. Yeah, you can imagine when I found out, I was in the park with the man then. And our leader, Gasman, I mean, you can't be out here robbing people with a name like Charles. So Gasman it was. Gasman was a very serious fellow. He said, and I quote, he spotted some ops. That means opposition. He said, yo, man them. And then we assembled and formed Mandematron. Say, yo, you see them ops there, cuz you see them ops? We're like, yeah, blood, man sees them, man sees them. We see them, blood, we see them, blood. Said, yeah, can't we go suck those boys for their shoes? And the rest of them were getting up like, yeah, I'm on this thing. I'm like, wait, no. My brother, no. I need to see the small print. I said, excuse me, Mr. Can I call you Mr. Gasman? Now, if for the life of me, I could have sworn you just instructed us to, said, yeah, blood, you heard, man. That's the motive today. That's the prime objective. Today, we're sucking man, blood, yeah? We suck man for their shoes, their watches, their chains, their cash. Anybody coming through that gate that's not in our gang is getting sucked. Mercilessly. I said, bro, I'm not involved. He said, either you suck man or man suck you. I said, whoa. Can we talk? I said, brother, why? Why, my brother? Why are you doing this? And he gets philosophical. He said, it's all I know. It's how I survive on the roads. I didn't choose to suck man. Sucking man chose man. I said, is this why you have a gang? He said, what? No, I don't need a gang to suck man. I suck 3-4 man by myself. Ask all them boys at the estate, I sucked all of them, bro. Listen, I even sucked this boy in front of his dad. In front of his dad, he said, yeah. I said, what did his dad do? He said, his dad didn't do nothing. Because he did one false move, he gets sucked too, rude boy. I said, my God, this man is prolific. He said, big man, I don't know fear, you know. I don't care how big a man is. How hard man is. I'll look man in the eye and suck man, fam. Are you mad? I said to him, bro, you are broke. I am also broke. This is my last £5. Take it. Wallahi, you need it more than me. Foot Locker is still hiring up. In fact, do you want me to make your CV? We can go together. He said, no, I don't suck man for minimum wage. Man's got aspirations.
Is there a barrister in the room, by the way? Do we have a barrister here? Yeah, so close. Who you are? What's your name, champ?
Mark.
Mark. And Mark, what do you do?
Trainee solicitor.
You're a trainee solicitor. Okay, so you don't get to appear in court, do you?
No.
Oh, man, that's the whole fun of it, though. That would be the gas part, just appearing, just doing the walk in front of the jury. Oh, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Now, that would be the real gas of it all. You don't get that, do you not? No. Oh. Here, let me find out your instincts, though. Maybe you made the right decision, right? When you get to the end of a jury, right? When you get to the end of a jury, you're walking along, no, and you get to the end, right? And the jury's here. Which way should you turn?
Back on yourself.
Like this?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's why you wouldn't have made a good barrister.
Just that moment there, right? If you're ever in a court, right, and you're ever representing yourself, walking along and blah, 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 your instinct will be to go blah, 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 end of the thing, just go blah, 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 blah. Wrong. This is the way you do it. Blah, 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 blah. But I ask you, when you look into the face of my client there, ask yourself, is he not guilty? That's how you do it, right? You ever been in showbiz? Take it for free, right? Anyway, this psychic, this nameless psychic was on recently, this is a completely true story, was on a couple of days before me in a theatre somewhere, right? And died roaring, couldn't do it, genuinely, and to the point that the audience turned. The audience were just looking at her going, you can't do this. You're actually bad at this, right? You can't. And they started taking the mickey. I started going, give me a name, give me a woman's name. Tracy, perfect, Tracy. Let's call her Tracy, right? Tracy. And the audience started going, Tracy, what about my mother? And Tracy would go, is she dead? And they go, no. And another voice went, Tracy, what about my sister? And you one goes, is she dead? And we go, no. And eventually someone goes, Tracy, what about my father? And she goes, is he dead? And the voice goes, yeah. And he went, oh, Ace, no. Something is coming through. Something is coming through. And the voice goes, no, he's here. Sorry. They're glorious, they're fantastic, they're fabulous people. So we had that chat with Andy, we talked to James again, we talked to Julia there. The one person I really wanted to talk to was, well actually there's a few, but Melissa from the property shows. Where's that? Hello, how are you? How's yourself? Good to have you here. You do the property shows on BBC Daytime, don't you?
I do.
You do? Yeah, well you did. What are you going to do next year? Not so much in the property now, is that? That's a kind of a topical one there, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just picking, you know? What are you going to do? A show called We're Staying Here? Or, actually, the schools aren't that bad. No, do you know what my favourite is? My absolute favourite? The best of all, right? Not grand designs, not location, with respect, not homes under the hammer. Property Ladder is the greatest property show in the world, right? For one simple reason, right? Property Ladder. You know the one I mean? Yeah. Very good. Brilliant. Best, almost the greatest television show, because uniquely, historically, it's the only television show ever that has an expert that nobody pays a blind bit of notice to. Every week, Sarah Beanie comes in and goes, Magnolia, and they go, no, we're painting it black. Every week, she's going, no, please, what are you doing there? We're digging a hole in the hallway to put a swimming pool in. What? She must be off camera every week going, why am I even here? They don't even listen to a word I say. Every week I give advice and then they make a big profit and they think they're as good as me. Well, they're not. And she's in, she's out, she's in, she's out. It's a continuity disaster area. It really is, yeah? I'm not saying anything against her being pregnant, but it does kind of give away how long it takes these people to do a bit of basic plumbing, you know what I mean? In the time it's taken them to plaster the back bedroom that she's been in, she's had 4 kids in the time they've taken them to that. Just stick her in a poncho in episode 1 and be done with it, right? Make her Mexican. She can do the accent. Come in on a donkey going, so you want to develop some property? Yeah. Perhaps you'd like to knock through the wall and make this into a separate bedroom? Yeah, that would rise you. Many, many pesos for you if you can possibly do that.
But I got Sky TV now, which is excellent. You can pause live TV, just pause it. The people at home now can just pause it, and it's a perfect pause. Not the old sort of 1980s VHS pause. That was a very different story, wasn't it? You couldn't even see what you were watching in 1980s pause. People who weren't moving would start moving. Wasn't even moving in this scene. People in paintings would come to life. I'm in a painting! But then once you pause it, it's quite exciting because you can watch it back at like ×2 or ×6 or ×12 or ×30, which makes boring programs quite entertaining. Like at the tennis, you can forward the changeovers. Watching Andy Murray eating a banana in ×12 is quite exciting. I watched Deal or No Deal in ×30. It really whizzes along. I watch all TV. I watch TV just to slag it off, to be honest. Dragon's Den winds me right up. I know you're rich, dragons. You don't need to bring your cash with you.
They sit there with cash on their tables. I'm so tremendously wealthy, all my bank accounts are full. I've had to bring additional funds with me tonight. What about you, Theopathitis? Have you got money on your table? Oh, I'm completely loaded. I've thrown money up onto my table, that's every time. What about you two dragons? Oh, yes, you've got a lot of cash here. All right, bring in the first poor person. Let's see what they've got. They come in trembling. Hello, dragons. Please, can I have some cash for the ideas in my brain? I feel sick just looking at poor people. Look at the state of her clothing. For that reason, I'm out. What about you, Theopathitis? Are you out? I will be out, but I'm going to humiliate the bitch for 15 minutes. Then I will declare that I too am out. I'd like to go on Dragon's Den with a shotgun. Just stand there, pointing it at each of them individually, till one of them goes, so what's your idea? Quite simple, put that cash in this bag, all right? You get no equity. I like some TV. I watch it till the bitter end, literally like the early hours of the morning, till the signing zone, the death zone. That's when you know it's probably time for bed, you know? When there's somebody in the corner signing. You feel a bit like, this isn't really for me. They almost look at you like, come on, you could have watched this in the day. It's probably bedtime for you. Deaf people have been asleep all day to stay up for this. Have some respect. I like it when there's no dialogue in the show and they watch TV with you. The other day I was watching the Blue Planet or something. This is a show with David Attenborough where they discover creatures from the depths of the ocean for the very first time. Literally fish that were only just discovered, and they were naming them on the show. So he was going, here we have the newly discovered Diplodocus. And the signing guy was going... He resorted to impersonating the fish. It was hilarious. The fish was swimming, he was just underneath going...
I used to be not exactly ashamed of my blackness, but I never wanted to do anything that could be seen as stereotypically black, and it followed me all my life. So when I was younger, when I was at school, if I was ever in PE and a basketball would come flying at top speed towards my face, instead of catching that basketball in the air, dribbling it towards the nearest net and slam dunking the thing, as I naturally would, I just let it hit me in the face and roll away. When I got older, I made a lot of friends, mainly white friends, and we started going to the club. Are you familiar with the club? Not the club, the club. At the end of the street. Whenever I went to the club and I was dancing with a group of friends, I would deliberately dance less well on purpose. So that the white people wouldn't be intimidated. There'd always be one other black person in the corner of the room, arms folded, looking at me like, you're disrespecting yourself. When meanwhile, I'll be in the middle of the dance floor just moving like Miley Cyrus. I tried so hard. I tried so hard to pass as white. I did all the white things. I bought pesto. I said tissue. And I got really dangerously into Jamie T. I am talking about the era of Jamie T, Pete Doherty, Jack Pignati, Jedward. I spent my late teens, arguably the sexiest part of one's teens, just sort of lusting over these gurning predators. Like, imagine more me, you'll be at a house party with an edgy white boy and he'd have the whole edgy boy starter kit. He'd have the skinny jeans, roly fag, unacceptable BO. He'd be talking always about one of his two favourite subjects, which is always either dubstep or himself. And he's sitting on the windowsill, and finally you pluck up the courage to just cut him off mid-anecdote, put your hand on his shoulder, look him in the eye and be like, mate, I love you. And then he'd look at you, and you'd look at him, and you'd lean in for a kiss, and then he'd just sort of thumb MDMA into your mouth. And after that was it, you were like, wow! I think he really likes me. Oh my God, white guys. I spent half my life lusting after unsuitable white guys. Have we got any white guys in? Come on, guys, cheer louder. We know how much you get paid. Of course you white guys are here because you are everywhere. You're in the White House, you're in the big banks, you're in all the fancy court cases, you're killing it. Sometimes literally. But I don't want anyone to think I'm having a go because I genuinely adore white guys. Love your work. Ed Sheeran, amazing. I haven't got anything against white men apart from, obviously, everything it is that they've done. Some of my best friends. Some of my best friends are white men. My mother is a white man.
It was actually quite romantic how me and my boyfriend met. It was through a friend in a park, and it wasn't on Grindr though, because that's usually how. Because like a little straight people, you've got Tinder, and Grindr is like Tinder, except it tells you how far gay people are away from you in feet. It's like, why would you ever need to know on your phone how far a gay person is away from you in feet, like some kind of sat-nav to find them? If anything, Grindr should be for homophobes. If you're terrified of gay people, that's a handy application to have on your phone. Just walking down the road going, oh, Jesus, I'm not going that way now. Oh, my God, I'm surrounded. How'd you get out of this church? Thank you very much. Did you have the thing, by the way? Did you have the thing of during lockdown, your brain would be remembering cringy stories from your past that you'd forgot about happening? But for some reason, your brain was like a sibling waking you up at 4 o'clock in the morning going, oh, I know it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you're trying to sleep, but do you remember when you shot yourself? I'll be back in an hour with another one. Because some of the date stories I was remembering, I was like, oh no, that was horrendous. I can't believe I did that. Because on dates, I would get so nervous that I would do stupid voices to try and make them laugh, which is cute, but not sexy in the slightest. Nobody's ever gone, I didn't find him attractive. And I thought, no, I'm not going to go back to his. But then he did Kermit the Frog, and immediately I was turned on.
You want to come back to my house with Kermit? It'd be really hot.
And on a date, a guy told me he was a massive Lord of the Rings fan. And when he told me that, I thought, I'll save Gollum for dessert. And when he said to me, Larry, I've got to go and get my taxi, it took me by surprise. And instead of going, oh, before you go, I've got this wee Gollum impression you might enjoy, instead, I panicked, dropped my cutlery and grabbed his hand and led him out of the restaurant as Gollum. So the last thing he can remember of me, and everyone else in the restaurant can remember of me, is me going, come with me, master.
stupid fat hobbit needs to go and get a taxi. Oh, but no, we do want Master to leave us. Precious Master, don't abandon your Smeagol.
And halfway through doing it, I became more self-aware. And I looked up at him and I thought, he's not finding this funny at all. But I thought, it's going to be weirder if I stop halfway through. Because if anything, that's more creepy, going, Master, please don't leave me, no. Nice meeting you, man. Let's do this again sometime. Thank you so much.
So the winter's drawing in. It's over. The summer was over. We never even had a summer. It was so depressing. Nothing happened, except there was a lot of rain, a great deal of rain. More rain ever since records began. Yes. Not that we have any idea what that means. There was this strange period in history with no records at all. People would leave their homes and go, it feels slightly different to yesterday. Is anybody writing this down? And then after a period of time, somebody said, enough's enough, I will write this down. I would like to announce that records have begun. That first day must have been quite a record-breaking day, don't you think? It's the hottest, wettest, windiest day since records began! This morning, I've only just started. I think it's about the wind as well on the weather. Who cares about the wind? Could it be a stiff northeasterly breeze? I'm not sailing to work. I don't give a shit. People see that and go, I'll leave slightly later with the tailwind. I'll be there in half the time. Woo! Then the clocks are going to change. Nobody knows when the clocks are going to change. They change on a Saturday night. Nobody knows it's going to happen. Everybody the same every Saturday night, every year. They don't know which way or what's going on. You only find out about it late on Saturday night. You overhear somebody, excuse me, what was that? The clocks, they changed. When? Tonight? Oh! Darling, the clocks, which way? They go back. Is that the good one? How many years do we need to be alive before we know when they change and which way? An extra hour! Woohoo! The only thing we can look forward to, ladies and gentlemen, in this winter is snow. It's the only thing that gets us through, because the weather's terrible, but snow is the holy grail. Nothing beats snow. And normally, we get one day of snow, and you've got to hope that it snows overnight, so you can be snowed in. Earlier this year, it snowed in the middle of the day. You don't want that. I was waiting for my bus, and where I live, there's no tube. You have to wait for the bus. The buses actually originate there. The bus is already there. So it's even more frustrating. I'm waiting for the driver. We've got everything we need. We're looking for people. Can you drive this thing? And that's when the snow came. Amazing, instantly landing snow. The best of snow. I mean, the most unbelievable snow. And then I realized, oh my God, I could get snowed out. This is not what I need. The driver shows up. And he says, ladies and gentlemen, I regret to inform you, due to the chaos on the roads, it's been snowing 8 seconds at this point. We're cancelling the bus. There will be no running of this service. And we're like, well, hang on a minute. We bought our tickets. What are we going to do? How are we supposed to get home? There's no way to get home. What are we going to do? And he said, don't shout at me. I actually live at the other end of this bus route. I take this bus home, and then I'm relieved by another driver. And we're like, this is a very interesting development. How are you going to get home? So there's only one thing to do. Walk. It's the only way we can get home. It's the only way at all. I'm like, fine, okay. So we walked the bus route, led by the driver. We came to the first stop. We had to tell the people waiting, there's no bus. And they joined our imaginary bus. It was getting bigger and bigger. I looked behind us, I could see the next imaginary bus. Not a bus, just people walking. And it was catching up fast, because no one to pick up from the stops. And the driver saw this as well, and he turned around. He said, when we get to the next stop, don't tell them anything. Keep walking, they can get on the next one. I thought this was one of the funniest things that ever happened to me. I said to the woman walking next to me, I said, this is hilarious. We're on an imaginary bus. There's a driver. There are old people walking. This is funny, right? And I thought we were on the same wavelength, but now I remember I was doing most of the talking, because she said, I'd love to chat, but this is my stop. She got down to an actual
actual bus stop and then walked in the direction we had just come from.
The problem is the builders, my dad's mate, he's a proper geezer, proper South East London geezer. One of those builders that, you know, that walk, just walks like that, his legs like he's got a pool table between his legs. And he walks like that, and also he's got those really thin jogging bottoms. You know, those like grey jogging bottoms that builders wear? I don't know where they get them from. They're so thin, and it just grabs onto anything that's there. I feel like I'm getting stared out by his knob and balls as he comes in. And sometimes it's weirder than him being naked. I don't know why. It feels more intrusive. He's like, hello, son, what we got here? I don't know. Everything's walking around like that. I reckon I could draw his knob and bollocks from memory better than mine. So he's coming like that, and I'm like, oh, God. I go, do you want a cup of tea? He goes, yeah, I'll have a cup of tea. I went, how many sugars? He went, 13. That's not a cup of tea anymore, it's a pudding. That's an angel delight of a tea bag, innit? 13 sugars, how'd our mate sticking it in? It's about £3 worth of sugar. He's only come round for a quote, it's already cost me. I put 14 in to test him. Give it him. He went, it's a bit sweet, innit? You winding me up, you know me on 13, you greedy bastard. Old type 2 Terry's come round and it's a bit sweet for him, is it? When are you going to do this job? I want it done before your foot comes off, all right? Anyway, I had a Kit Kat in the fridge, right? I thought, right, let's get him back on side of Kit Kat, right? He's into sugar. I like introducing people to new things, see if he wants a Kit Kat. 4-finger Kit Kat. Like, how would you eat a Kit Kat? 4 fingers? I've said that wrong, haven't I? I thought you looked at me funny. Sorry, I said that like it was your name. What I meant to say... I don't know what I meant to say. I meant to how would you eat a 4-finger Kit Kat? But I went, how'd you eat a Kit Kat? 4 fingers. Oh, hello, 4 fingers, how's it going? Who needs thumbs, eh? Me to smoke by the looks of things. Sorry about that. Not an ideal nickname for a young lady, is it, really? So what would you do? 1 finger at a time? Is that what you'd... Should we start again? Sorry, what's your name? Anita. Nice to meet you, Anita. Sorry for calling you 4 fingers. Anyway, Anita, how'd you eat a Kit Kat? That's what I was going for.
1 at a time.
1 at a time, right. 1 at a time's a normal approach to a 4th. Got there. Yes. Anyway, 1 at a time's a normal approach to a 4-finger Kit Kat, isn't it, right? I gave this builder a 4-finger Kit Kat. He picked it up, put the whole thing in his mouth at once. Bit into it like he was eating a bun. Dirty ogre sugar bitch. What kind of animal is one popping a 4-finger Kit Kat?
I've made a list of pros and cons, because I've been spending a lot of time in brothels and prisons. Made a list of pros and cons, always good, give you a bit of balance, Con, complete loss of all feelings of hope and possibility. Well, doesn't sound very good, does it? It doesn't sound much fun, does it? Pro, increased plug socket access. 1-1. I say increased, it's actually total plug socket access. I've got 32 plug sockets in my house. Each and every one of them is now under my sole domain. Con, all experiences that form the basis of my happiness and sense of self-worth are now destroyed by grief. Downer. A bit of a downer. Pro, less recycling. I can fit it all in the green box now. It's remarkable when you take into account just how much I'm drinking. Oh, John, you're meant to heat mulled wine. All right, Your Highness, hand me the bottle and leave. Con, I'm gonna lose me house. Bit of fun. Pro, 25% off council tax. I was on that like a ferret. Dialing as the door slammed. And that's us fresh out of cons. The rest are just pros, guys. Yeah. Increased freezer space, all 4 drawers. Cheaper gas and electric. Reduced wear and tear on fixtures and fittings. And when I say reduced, I don't mean by half, because I was only ever responsible for about 10% of scuffs and spills. So we're looking at a net reduction of 90% in real terms. This is my favourite one. Ultimate control over where the iPhone charger cable is and why it is there. There was a time it would take hours to answer the questions, where is the iPhone charger cable and why is it there? Not anymore. Plugged in next to the bed, most convenient place to have it. Simple. Is it unplugged in the bathroom? No, it's not. Be a ludicrous place to keep it. There's no plug socket in the bathroom. Is it in the front pocket of a rucksack you no longer use? That'll be the last place you look. That'll be very frustrating. Is it plugged in on a train we have alighted from? No. It's plugged in next to the bed because that's the most convenient place to have it.
Do you love London? I love London. I feel like London is created by the people, right? Who are just crazy and sexy and ambitious. I got into an Uber the other day, not bragging, and I got into an Uber and the driver, he said, would you like to have the radio on? And I was like, I don't mind, it's up to you. And then he said, well, actually, I make my own music. Do you mind if I put some of that on? No, I don't. And then he put on Drake's new album. I wonder how often it works. I wonder how often there's a middle-aged white woman thinking, oh, well, he looks like Aladdin and he sounds like confidence personified. Pull over and jump in the back, Nikolai. I'm having a good life. I have recently started doing yoga, which is just Yes, woo for the yoga over there. Are you a team? I'm new to it. I love it. Yoga has changed my life. It's brilliant. Yoga is my new drug. My old drug was drugs. Which I'm not going to say anything positive about because it would be incredibly irresponsible. I'm not going to say anything positive about drug taking. What I will say is I didn't take MDMA until I was 32, and it was such a relief to know I could be happy. Just assume the equipment's broken. But yoga is nearly as good, and there's no downsides. It's given me a whole new language. My favourite new word is namaste. Yeah, it's a very old word, it's very sacred, and it means the yoga has finished now. And then you're allowed to leave. I think that the key to being happy as you get older is self-acceptance. Like, I have to accept things about myself now. Like, I'm 36, I thought I would have children by now, and I don't. In an ideal world, what I wanted to self-fertilise. I wanted to have children that were exactly my genetics so that I could show them to my parents and go, see, it was my childhood, they're fine. Science can't do that yet. And then I had a crazy day last month where I just thought, I'm just going to buy some sperm. I'm just going to buy some sperm off the internet. I've got a good job. I'm just going to buy some sperm. Guys, sperm is so much more expensive than I thought it was going to be. It is tens of thousands of pounds. We are all wasting a valuable resource. 17-year-old me would have been a millionaire if I'd learned how to catch it and chuck it in the freezer. It's a shock. I do think self-acceptance is the key. Like, there's things about myself I don't like, but I just have to accept now that they're not going to change. This is who I am. Like, so for instance, I don't like art. I think art is rubbish. I think lots of people think art is rubbish, but we're too worried of looking stupid, so we go along with it. I think that the worst art form is theatre. Right, okay, I can sense how unpopular this opinion is. Hear me out. I think theatre is diabolical. Look, I do, look, and also, I'm aware, if you're a performer of some kind, if you're an actor, look, please don't be offended. I don't mean being in the play. Obviously, if you're the person in the play that gets to put a wig on and walk up and down and move your arms and project your voice, saying things like, I think you'll find you're contradicting yourself, Alan. Fun. Having to watch it. Dear Christ. I can't concentrate. I can't lose myself in the story. I know that it's not real because I'm surrounded by people eating crisps. And they don't let you look at your phone. So all you're thinking is, well, how long has it been?
Oh, we have a great show for you tonight. We have a fantastic show. Very funny comedians. I know funny. Very funny. People always ask me who I think is funny. That's the number 2 question I get asked as a comedian. The number 1 question I get asked as a comedian is, have you ever died? As soon as you tell someone you're a comedian, first thing they want to know, oh, you ever died? Oh, what's it like when no one laughs? Oh, tell us about the worst gig you've ever had in your life. Please, relive for me, in minute detail, the worst moment of your professional career. Have you ever really died? It's like saying to a doctor, tell us about the last patient you lost. What happened? With the family crying. I bet they were they? Yeah. People are such ghouls. It's the number 1 question. Have you ever died? Number 2 question, though, is what makes you laugh? People always want to know that from me. Who do you think is funny? And that's a nicer question. That's more understandable. You know, I make people laugh. People want to know what makes me laugh. In the same ways you might say to your hairdresser, who cuts your hair? Or you might say to someone in an Audi, who do you think drives like a cock? Same kind of thing. I like that joke. It's a short joke, it's a sharp joke, and also with that joke, I get to spot every Audi driver in the room. I can just see it there. Pinched expression on your face there. All right, no need to be like that about it. I've done well for myself. It's a very reliable machine. And the fact that I can tell you're an Audi driver by the expression on your face means technically you've just given a form of indication. So well done. Good for you. Who knew you could do it? Yeah. Have you ever died? Who do you think is funny? You always get asked the same questions. That's why I don't like doing interviews. I love doing this job. This is great. I love standing here talking to you, though. But doing interviews, it's a necessary evil. It's part of the job. I having to answer questions. And I don't even like watching interviews. You'd rather watch a comedian tell jokes than talk about how they wrote them. You'd rather watch a singer sing songs than talk about their inspiration. You'd rather watch a sports person do their sport. You'd certainly rather watch a sports person do their sport. Come on now. Sports interviews can be turgid affairs at best. And then I hit it with my foot. You mean you kicked it? If you like. They're really interesting. And I'm not slagging sports people. It takes a great deal of single-mindedness to excel at a sport to a point where people want to interview you about it. But sports people are famous because they're good at sport, not because they're good at talking about sport. That's why you find a sports person who is good at talking about sport, the BBC will cream their knickers over them. We found a woman. She used to ride horses. That's a sport. And she's quite lively and engaging and charismatic. Put her on absolutely everything! Do not let her out of your sight. Even people I'm a fan of. Andy Murray. I love Andy Murray. Britain should be very proud of Andy Murray. He's done a lot to be proud of. He's won Wimbledon. He's Olympic gold medalist. And he put up with a lot of shit when he was named, 8th best in the world? Oh, you bloody loser, you. Done a lot to be proud of. He's won Wimbledon, he's Olympic gold medals, he's magnanimous in victory, he's humble in defeat. And he's a big comedy fan. He's been to see me live, I've met him, lovely bloke. But Jesus Christ. I cannot listen to him drone on one more time about how he won, stroke lost another tennis match. I can't do it. Well, then I hit it to him, and he hit it back to me, and I'm very good at tennis, but he is also very good at tennis. Some days I'm better at tennis than he is, but I think what's happened today was he was slightly better at tennis than I am, and that's maybe why he won the game of the tennis. Oh, for God's sake, man! I'm not very sporty, you can probably tell. I like hill walking. Doesn't really count as a sport. I like hill walking and camping. Proper camping, though. None of your glamping bullshit. Glamping. Derivation of the words glamorous and camping, where you stay in a yurt, which is more expensive than a hotel. What is wrong with you? A lot of people don't realize yurt is a derivation of the words yura and twat. A lot of people don't realize that.
It's a Tuesday night. We've all got to stay over. Should we go for a drink? I said, James, I'd love to go for a drink with you. It'd be great. He said, good. I said, I normally play darts, but I'm up for going out. He said, brilliant. He said, because tonight, it's the Brits. Now, I'm in my 40s. I've been married 17 years. I wasn't really sure what the Brits was, to be honest. But in front of me new showbiz mates, I didn't want to look like a knobhead. So I went, all right, yeah, let's go and do some Brits. Yeah, I'm always up for some Brits. We're always Briting it by us. Let's go and Brits it. Yeah, I'm up for the Brits. Let's go and Brits it. He said, fantastic. He said, I'll phone Robbie up. We'll go to his party. I said, great. If we're going to go to a party, let's stop at the off-licence on the way and get the ale in. He said, no, it's not that kind of party. It'll be in a nightclub. He said, do you know Robbie? And I went, I mean, I know some Robbies. He said, Robbie Williams. I went, oh, Bob! 10 minutes later, I'm sat in a car with James Corden and Freddie Flintoff going to the Robbie Williams Brits after-show party. It's one of those moments where you want to phone your mate and go, guess where I am? Well, you can't. I'm just trying to act all cool. I'm also in a car going to a nightclub. It's a long time since I've been to a nightclub. In my head, I'm worried about whether they're going to let me in jeans. The last nightclub I went to, I wore a thin leather tie. It's been a while. We come along in this car. We turn up at this nightclub in London. There's a cavalcade of cars. The bouncers come out and open the door. Bouncers aren't what bouncers used to be. Bouncers used to be different. When I was going to nightclubs, they used to wear dicky bows and look dead smart. They don't do that now. They have little bomber jackets with certificates on the sleeve, don't you? To show you they've got an MVQ in kicking your head in. We go to walk into this nightclub. There's a bank of photographers there. They all start shouting, James, Freddie. Start taking photographs. No one knows who the friggin' hell I am. But they're shouting, James, Freddie. So they stop. So I stopped. Goes into the nightclub. It was a bit loud, to be honest with you. It was a bit loud, and there was a lot of songs without words, a lot of boom, 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 and I had a really good book that I was halfway through, so I didn't want to stay out late anyway. And also, Robbie wasn't there, which disappointed me immensely. I spent all night hoping to bump into Robbie Williams. I spent all night walking around with a bottle of beer in my hand in case I bumped into Robbie Williams, so I could say, "Oh, do us a favour, Robbie, take that." I know. Shit joke, but who else you going to do it with? So I spent all night doing that. Goes home, woke up the following morning, one of my mates phoned me up. He said, "Where were you last night?" I said, "Look, I'm sorry I missed the dart." He said, "Where were you?" I said, "I was just working." He said, "I know where you were." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You were out in London, weren't you?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Get up, have a look on the Sky News website, have a look in the showbiz section, look at the Brits after-show party." I said, "Look, mate," I said, "I don't want you to think I've become a champagne Charlie. I was just out with some lads from work. We were going to this thing. We had to stay over." He said, "Just get up and have a look, knobhead." I got out of bed. I looked on the Sky News website. I looked in the showbiz section. I looked at the Brits after show party. There was 42 photographs. Photograph number 39 was a picture of me, James Corden and Freddie Flintoff walking into the Robbie Williams party. The caption next to it said, an unlikely trio. It said James Corden and Freddie Flintoff arrived at the Robbie Williams after show party with Bez from the Happy Mondays.
They say it's hard, you know, bringing kids up is difficult. They say kids these days are influenced by these new hyper-violent computer games. And that's nuts, isn't it? If we'd been influenced by the computer games from our childhood, we'd have to go around going like, beep, beep, it'd be rubbish, wouldn't it? No one would play with that kid with beep, beep. Can I be in your gang? No, you're a bit weird, mate, to be honest. Imagine being influenced by Pac-Man. You'd have to like walk round in a darkened room munching pills and listening to repetitive music. It's for the younger people laughing and clapping, the older ones going, who is this Pac-Man you speak of? It's not one of the rough boys from the estate, is he? See what some rough kids where I live. And they're not being rough, they're just being confusing. You know, you come out of your house, they go, yeah, your mum makes gravy for leopards, innit? Yes, I believe she does. She does a lot of charity work. These are scary kids. Even the dirty old men are scared of these kids. See them turn up in their car, put the window down, like, hello, little boy, do you want a sweet? And the kid's like, what sort of sweets have you got? Said it best be good if you come on here and trouble me with your sweetie talk, right? You don't want any mojo or drumstick rubbish, you get me? You must have a serious sweetie offer for me, boy. Blokes panic. I was like, well, I've got bonbons. I wasn't sure what to bring, to be honest. Dib-dab there, and a wham-bar. Wham-bar, your sweets are rubbish, man. Shut up. No. Wham-bars used to be big like that. Now they're small, innit? So you're going to have to do better than a wham-bar if you want to see my dick, right? Hey, man, look at your car driving a Saab. You got no pride. Get out, you wham-bar, bitch. Next pervert, please. How many sweets have you got, Sweaty? What do you mean, Neverland? Yeah. Well, we live in exciting times anyway, you know. It's very exciting being in London, you know. The Olympics. Fantastic. We didn't really want the Olympics till we heard France might get it. British people are, oh no, all that running and jumping. It's not really for us, is it? When is it? No, I'm busy that week. What? France are going to get it? Bollocks, we'll have it. Only in London would we have to have a poster campaign saying back the bid. No, fuck off, it'll be rubbish. Don't you think that's a bizarre response to that question? Like, would you like the oldest, most historically significant athletic competition the world has ever known, attracting athletes from every known nation on the face of the planet to come here and perform at the peak of their abilities in the very city where you live? Most British people go, where will we park? You know, because it's all residents round here. There's others going, no, man, the tubes will be packed, you get me? People getting on the underground with, like, javelins and shit. No. Coming in the escalator with a shot put, health and safety, boy. And there's a whole other section of British society going, you what? The Olympics? Let a load of foreigners in? Once you can run and jump and swim, you let them in, you'll never fucking catch them. Huh? Place to be overrun with Lycra refugees. You're having a laugh, ain't you, mate? They'll peel them little numbers off their jackets. You watch them, they're sneaky. I read about it in the Mail.
I am what you call in show business a triple threat. I do comedy, and I do music, and I will cut you. Just joking, I probably won't. So it's so fantastic to be here today. I will be doing a little bit of music, so if you're a fan of NWA or Snoop Doggy Dogg, then I apologise. I'll be about 3 minutes. So this first song, this is about travelling on a train. Could you give me a cheer, Apollo, if you've ever been on a train before? About half. Okay, great. Lovely. Well, the half of you who cheered, that means you are my target demographic. Congratulations. So I'm going to sing this song. This is about the worst thing any of us can ever encounter on a train journey. Just before I sing it, I have had some problems at previous gigs, actually, so I just want to make something crystal clear. If you listen carefully, I'm not even saying the word Hindu. Just listen harder. Hindu on a train. Hindu on a train. Cowboy hats and penis cakes. Neck tattoos and big L plates, and voices like a foghorn in a drain. Hindu on a train, groping every passing male. I suspect you've been to jail, and God willing, you might all go again. And although I have so many things to say to you, I'm aware that there are 6 of you, and all of you have had more fights than me. I've never glassed someone, but I do know how. Perhaps I'll glass you now. Hindu on a train. You brought your own speakers too, brilliant. To belt out Calvin Harris tunes. I mean, the maid of honor's clearly on cocaine. Hindu on a train. You see me staring and you threaten me. Then drunkenly you all set on me, and with a dick-shaped bottle take your aim. If you only knew, we're not so different, me and you. Just 3 months ago, my friends Hindu, we got drunk and we pretty much hijacked a plane. We were worse than you. We went down on all the crew. Mostly reluctant gay men, some women too. We got thrown out of Spain. You see, we're all the same, but you're not listening, you're bashing out my brain. Hindu on a train.
I read this thing, right, online, so it must be true, where everyone who's under the age of 30 is going to live till 160. Like, you look tired now. 160? I don't want to be sat in a flat, leaking, liver spotted. Your ears and nose, they never stop growing. I'm going to be sat there looking like I work at bloody Gringotts Bank, just like, And I think if I get to 160, I'm ending it. I don't know how you do it. What are you going to do? Sort of suffocate yourself with a bag for life? I reckon the best way, and maybe like a toaster in a bath situation, but it'd be one of those like sit-down baths with a chair and a door, and then you have to wait for it all to fill up. You put in a bit of matey for a last bit of luxury, and then you go, oh shit, I forgot the toaster, and then you have to wait for it all to drain. You open the door, you go out onto the landing, down a stair lift, into the kitchen, you go, what the bloody hell have I come in here for? It's never going to happen. I'm trying to do more nice things, though. That's what I'm trying to do. Because I've never really done anything with my life. I did a thing recently. I went to go and give blood for the first time. Has anyone ever done that? It's just one woman like, yeah, I did it today. It's amazing, but I thought you did it in like a hospital or like a sanitised medical centre. You don't. You do it in like a rugby club or like a methadone church, right? I turned up to this bingo hall near my nan's house, right? I was greeted by the second moodiest person I've ever seen in my life. It was a woman called Linda. Like, her name badge said Jean, but she looked like a Linda. Do you know what I mean? Like short bob, gelled fringe, good at darts. She weren't happy. She weren't. I turned up, she goes, have you got an appointment? And I went, no. And she goes, have you filled out a form? And I went, no. And then she threw this form at me, and as I'm walking off, she goes, thank you very much for giving blood. We really appreciate it. Giving blood is the greatest gift anyone could ever receive. And I'm thinking, Linda's never been given a slow cooker. So, take this form, I start filling it out. I had to use this woman's eyeliner because Linda wouldn't lend me a pen. Just filling it all out. And as I said, the only reason I went to go and give blood is make myself feel like I'd done something with my life. And instead, I'm faced with all these very serious adult questions. It was things like, have you ever been to Africa? And I'm like, no. And he goes, have you ever had sex with a man? And I'm like, no. And he goes, have you ever had sex with a prostitute? And I thought, I've done fucking nothing with my life. Nothing. Have you injected drugs? Have you spoken drugs? Have you had any treatments in the last 6 months? I panicked. I went, oh, well, me and my mum have had facials off Groupon. Not the right answer. Weirdest question, are you HIV positive? I was like, what? Like, no. Like, if anything, I'm against it. And then they took me off into this room, and there's all these sort of like Sharons and Johns lay on beds with sort of needles in their arms. Like, it looked like a spa day for smackheads. Put a belt round my arm, not even a nice belt. They spanked it a bit, they told me to relax, and then they whipped out the biggest flipping needle I've ever seen in my life, and I just fainted. Completely fainted. I can hear all these muffled voices, and then I can hear Linda's bellowing voice just going, I knew he'd be a fainter. I'm like... By the time I'd come around, all these people are trying to help me out, and Linda just parted them. And her way of trying to make me feel better, her way of trying to make me feel like a proper grown-up was going, would you like a glass of orange juice and a biscuit? I was like, no, Linda, I want to have sex with an African gay man for money. That's what I want to bloody do.
Explain the concept and naked attraction to you, and you're going to think to yourself, Suze, previous to your gig tonight, did you nip outside and smoke some crack? Because that's how mental it is. Right, Emma, a girl walks out on stage, she's like, I'm looking for a boyfriend. And the host goes, brilliant, we've got 6 naked men in tubes behind. Then the host says to the girl, what are you looking for? And the girl will always do the same thing. She'll go, oh my God, you've really put me on the spot. And you think, no, you chose to come on this show, moron. She goes, well, I guess I'm looking for a boyfriend, but also a friend. I really like going to European city breaks, maybe someone that likes travel. And I really like music gigs as well, so maybe someone that likes music. And I guess if I'm being really honest, what I'm looking for is love. And the host goes, brilliant, let's see if you can find love by judging dongs, okay? 6 naked men in tubes, okay? Now, Emma, there's a screen in front of all of them. Every round, the screen goes up a little bit more to show a little bit more of the naked body. Every round, one man gets eliminated until the end. She's got a couple of nudie fellas to choose from, okay? Now, Emma, first round, screen just goes up to their knees. There's always one bloke who's got really rough feet, really rough, like he was an extra in The Hobbit, and he just never took the feet off afterwards, right? Now, she clearly looked at them feet and thought, well, them trotters ain't coming home with me, right? And you think, well, that's the end for him, not the end. They don't shoot him. You think it's the end of the show for him, but it's not. It's not the end of the show, because he then has the indignity of the screen going the whole way up. So you see his penis and his face. Then he has the most awkward moment in television where he steps out of his tube, walks over to her and gives her the most uncomfortable hug you have ever seen. Well, you can tell all he is thinking is, don't touch the lady with your dick. Whatever you do, don't touch the stranger with your dick. And then his sad little ass walks off stage. Now, the next round, the screen comes up to the waist. And let's be honest, it is the round we are all watching for. It's cock-a-clock. Now, it's not going to come as a surprise to any of you. There's a lot of people in this evening. I'll bet it doesn't come as a surprise to one person in this room. I ain't seen many willies. I ain't seen many of them. I ain't seen many willies. I'm not a connoisseur when it comes to willies. I was straight for a month when I was 18. I don't have the wrists, okay? But even to me, even to the untrained eye, there was one that I was like, oh, there's something up with him. There was something just not quite right about it. They're not meant to have a corner, are they? Halfway through, it had like a proper corner. No, she clearly looked at that one and went, ooh. She can't do that, can she? She's got to go work on Monday. She don't look like a bitch on TV. So instead, she had to do a little lie. Emma, see if you can see where she went wrong. She went, I'm going to have to get rid of number 4. Kind of weird dick. I'm going to have to get rid of number 4 because the way that he's standing, he doesn't really look like a very confident guy. And I'm only really attracted to really confident guys. And I thought, he has his penis out on television. How much more confident would you like this twat to be?